Hey guys, how's it going? So, hey Narendra, Sawan, thanks for participating and congratulations. So you're the winner for September, right? Yeah, September contest. Yeah, thanks for really nice work, man. Really good job. Sorry guys, you guys, I have to manage I was not actually feeling well from past week and a half. Yeah, so I got to deal with my bad throat for a bit, and my voice is not really great. But yeah, sorry for that. So that was one of the reason this review got pushed like almost 1.5 week. But yeah, so Narendra, thanks for some really good work, man. But yeah, so congrats again, great, really good job. So yeah, people who doesn't know me, I'm Dhanu Muddikuppam, founder of CAW, and recently we founded a studio also with Cafe. So yeah, I've been in the industry almost like 14, 15 years, I guess. So working with games, TV series, and VFX movies mostly. So then we started CAW, where we train people for creature animation and animals and stuff. Yeah, so yeah, so that's about a little bit about myself. Cool. Let's dive into the review now. Yeah, sure. Great. So yeah, so every time I see any shot, right, Narendra, there's a lot of places we can improve, but overall the shot is great. So in this one right now, I feel like when I see things like any shots like this, right? So I consider two things. The first thing is like camera, second thing is environment, third thing is animation and regular sort of anything that is related to what the shot is great. So in here to consider with the camera first, right? So it's good that you kind of have given this sort of the binocular effect, which is great. But yeah, so I would really look into that, like probably like if you're zooming, at least like you might be like like trying to increase the focal length and come backward. So that means your framing is going to change. So maybe in order to get this, either you are super close and bring back like this and then kind of do this, or you're really far and then like zoom in and then kind of adjust it. That sort of a thing. There should be a bit of variation. Should actually would have helped, but again, it depends on length of your shot, whether you have that sort of area to play. But it's a nice idea. You actually kind of thought about that and dropped it, and it's a little bit less work also for us in animation. So when you have the camera moving around a lot, so yeah, a good try. But yeah, it's not really gonna distract anything. In this way, it's really nice. So yeah, so either you should be like zooming in or zooming out, and not really just sticking there for a little bit longer, like that. So that is a bit one of the places we can actually improve a little bit. So yeah, either we should be close up to zoom out like this, or we are like this and then we are zooming in. So either way, I think this effect would work. So if we can pull it, so try to take an opportunity like to show that effect, with a little bit of extra room, like where zoom in and reframing it would actually add a lot of value to the camera. So it's good that you have taken the camera initiative. It's quite nice, nice one. And the second thing, right? We got to let the creature or animal drive our cameraman. So imagine if you're watching, oh no, it's gone. It's kind of, oh, it's gone. Like you don't really know that he's gonna be like So basically, the constant struggle of a cameraman to keep the creature or animal in the frame is what the main goal is right now, right? So if you can do that, that will be really successful. So in order to do that, what does it mean here is for us, let him come across or her come across towards the end of the screen. You're like, oh no, I'm gonna miss him. I'm gonna like he's gonna go out of the frame. Like let me like you need some time to react, right? So you kind of you're looking at, oh, he's gonna go this way, and then by the time he's almost up to towards near the screen, right? So imagine if you're like this, and then guy is there, so that way you're like, oh, let me go, and then the camera kind of pans out, sorry, yeah, pans out this way, and then you're gonna catch him back like, oh, he's not really running away too much. He's gonna come this way, so you're gonna whoop, and then come back again, and then try to frame him, right? That sort of a struggle of a cameraman, would definitely elevate the shot much better on this one. And now, so you're like, your camera and your creature exactly know where they're going. Since you have animated, so you know that, right? If I'm actually watching something, I'm oh no, he's actually fall down. Some kind of oh, look down, and then that sort of a side to side move on the cameras on this what axis, y axis, right? So in the rotation y-axis like this can actually help a lot. So that is what we are actually missing. You cannot exactly stop on the creature where exactly it's gonna go. It's gonna like, okay, stop the camera. If you see the background, you know what I mean by that when you're stopping the camera. So you're stopping the camera exactly there. You see that? So every time you animate the cameras, right, watch the backgrounds, not the characters and not the creatures. So yeah, look at that. The background is dead. So it's kind of a bit of an overshoot on there, on the overshoot, and then camera comes overshoot, come back. Oh, he fell down, and then look down a bit more. Those things would be definitely good. See, you look down, right? So all this is kind of waste, right? So if you're trying to what do you call frame anything, if you're trying to shoot anything, any dog or any cat, or you see, you always have that struggle to keep them in the frame. Right now he fall down, so you always tend to, oh, he fall down, you're gonna look down, right? So to frame him in really in a good picture, probably he must be there. He fell down like this, and that's his legs. Probably he's going to be something like this. So then it's okay. At least you can make out, and then you go back again, and then leave a little bit more frame here, right? So, but this is too much more frame for a camera. So all the action is kind of gone here, and it's very blurry here. So you would like to have a really good view of it. So this would be somewhere probably at least would be there would be really nice, and this horse could have been slightly gone a bit bigger. So when you bring the camera down, the creature goes up, right? So that could be definitely a great way to play with the your camera. And then you see that he's gonna get up. Oh, he's gonna get up like just a bit of the camera. Oh, he's gonna get up, sort of thing like that on the camera would be definitely great. So right now it's a little tricky that so the camera doesn't move. Camera is like stuck in one place, and it just looked like one tripod sort of a thing. But yeah, so that going up would be definitely great. Let the camera let the creature drive, and then the you can speed up the camera a little bit of acceleration. Oh, he's gonna run away this way. Let me catch him. So that sort of areas can be improvised a lot on the camera, right? So that will be definitely helpful. So yeah, great job, man. Really nice one there. So if you could improvise that, that will actually elevate your shot quite really good level on the camera. And next thing is the background. I know we are not modelers. I know we are not the layout artists, and I know we are not really have to do anything. But since it's our shots, it's good to know some sort of little tricks about how to make the background. Right now it's just a straight plane, right? So it feels very sort of boring surface. Like how we're gonna go. There are some really simple modifiers in Maya where you can actually put those modifiers on, and it generates a little bit of uneven surface for your plane where you can get that bit of a texture. Since there is no texture, we don't really can make out how far is he actually covering. This is okay, but places like this, you can't really notice how far he's actually covering, and it's very hard for us to see like where is he sliding off, how far is he going and stuff. So that is a bit tricky. See if you can, most of the time, like try to get them some sort of uneven background on texture. Without texture also, you can actually with the bump, right? You can still see that how far the creature is covering. So it kind of gives a good sense in the brain that, oh, he's actually covering quite a lot of distance, and it feels nice. Right now it feels very CG and very like studenty sort of a work, right? So just go a little bit to add that extra bit would definitely great. But again, you're not actually giving marks on or giving the rating on the background or the camera. But camera, yes, for animation, definitely for animation camera works better. But this is how I normally would like to see, basically it actually helps me to understand, even to review or to animate, right? So how far we are covering. So that's a really good guideline, if you have the uneven sort of a background, would be great. Yeah, that's a good one. And yeah, now coming to animation, right? So yeah, so there is a few little things I would really like. First time when it catch my eyes was like a few obvious pops. Look at the obvious pops, and you see that he comes here, and then he hit the invisible wall there. He's like click. He's like point. Look at that. This guy really hit the wall. So it just because of the spacing, how we have to manipulate the spacing is what kind of gives you really great animation, smooth animation, rather having the clicky ones, right? And then afterwards, second thing is the weight shifts, right? I don't know, I don't know if it is in the reference like this or not really sure. Oh yeah, yeah, it's a different breed, man. You don't need to exactly match the shape. You could have actually gone comfortable shape with the horse, whatever we have there. So you could have followed the similar shape. You don't need to force any shapes. It feels slightly weird that when you're forcing some shape, just because of it's in the reference. What we normally do is we understand the essence from the reference. We don't exactly need to copy the reference, right? We and especially shapes also. It doesn't have to be, but there's a different breed and there's a different breed. But yeah, so that is something was slightly felt like there was a bit of a kept on going, like that kink is always there since the beginning. Could have been like softened out quite nicely. And the other things are weight shifts. I feel we could do a lot better job with the weight shifts right now. See, there's a bit of this happening, right? Especially the back legs. I'll come into depth in a bit. That's happening, right? So it's not actually showing any influence on the hip. What it's very rigid at the moment. So it will be nice to have when you're like it's simple weight shift, like just standing there. If you only lift this leg, shift your weight and then lift this leg, and then you drop and you shift, and then you lift this and then you drop and then you shift, right? So that weight shifts are not there, it's kind of missing, and they're not just side to side, even up and down, and even this rotations and this rotation, they all contribute towards the weight shift. So hip is mostly reaction comes from the leg splants. If you don't connect them, it's gonna look like animation. It's not going to look like very natural sort of an animal you're actually watching it. So those are the ones actually keeps you, differs you from normal animator to good animator. These are the skills. Just push you a little bit more. There's a really blur line from animator to good animator, but these things like good animators will actually take care of themselves. Like you don't see huge difference, but you feel the difference, by adding those. So yeah, the weight shifts could be like much better on this one to push it a little bit more further. And at some point, look at this, he kind of really stops. Like it's very hard to stop like that because he's such a heavy guy. Like probably at least what 200 300 kilos or something. I'm not really sure how heavy his horse, but yeah. Imagine if it's such a big guy, like kind of a stopping like that. It's very, it's kind of, even if we fell down also, we kind of a slide down a little bit. And that too, he's coming super fast like that. The momentum he's carrying, right? It's a huge momentum, and we really don't want her to just kill it like that, right? Imagine if a truck coming and stopping, and a bike, a small cycle coming and stopping, right? So they can, the bike can be like, you can brake quickly and stop. If it's a truck, right? Which takes a lot of time. Boom, 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 boom. So it takes so many frames to stop. It's exactly the same thing here. If you can find the weight of this guy, right? So you can't really just such a powerful drop, like he's just gonna like slip there. He fell down. We can't really kill him like that. So he has to use that momentum too, because he's a smart guy. Like he's sliding. It's good. Now he's not really hurt himself. He didn't really like bang his head down, and then he's like dizzy. He's in control right now. He's just using that momentum to get up faster and run quicker, right? So that is something we could actually use that momentum to slow down and use the momentum to get up and go rather just killing the momentum. It's like athletes, right? When they're it's like footballers, they're trying to kick some ball, they fell down, they slide, and then they get up back and then keep running back to momentum, right? It's like that. They don't really want to kill the momentum. They know they fell down, they can understand, and they want to use that momentum if they can get up, and rather just like a very old man, just I can't get up now, and they stop completely and they try to get up, get balance, and then they walk. Old people, but the athletes or like really young guys, they don't need to do this, so they can understand. Okay, now I'm in a good momentum. Got it control now. I know I fell down. Now I need to get up by using this momentum. Then you can do that. So that sort of a thing can be definitely helpful if you can try that. Those are the three little things. What I found it. So the obvious clicks. The second thing, the weight shifts. The third one is the momentum, which you can actually use it and can actually help you to wake up from that disaster and then walk away from there would be definitely great. Sorry, guys. So yeah, so those are the little things. So in order to understand, like I'll just go one little section so that you can actually apply the same thing for the entire shot on the weight shifts, right? So if I'm actually trying to pick up from this little bit, right? Okay, you go a little bit overall. The first part is great. So first 20 frames, this is how I normally see my, and there's a bit of a pause here, like I think in the going towards away from the camera, like in the depth, right? So there is a little bit of a pause there. He hits the wall there. So that is something we can try to improvise. And I like this. You drop the feet and then you got the weight shift is great. But you kind of does the same thing with that feet there. Could be nice to have a bit of the chest motion. Moving on top of it. Like you just drop the leg, you could go and then come back. That would be definitely great, right? And yeah, so your head is kind of could be like when you're stopping, right? It could be just nice to have sort of a small move. Would be definitely great. So next, see the next 50 frames. Oh yeah, so this is where the clicks coming from, right? Look at this. The first part is quite nice. The way is kind of, but again, like I really like you're kind of going down and then you're kind of kicking up and then rotating your head. It's kind of a really good breakdown from the head what you're trying to do. But I think he turns quite a lot in 2 frames. Like look at this, such a huge difference, right? So look at this. This is a big shape here, and that's a big shape, and it's gone completely. It's completely lost. So it's kind of really like super sharp. I like it, but you could actually play with the smear frames a little bit more nicely. So probably you still have a little bit of face seeing there, or you could add one more frame, like so here he's already started going down, and then this one started going down already, and then this, and then this is great, and then this is all great. So add one frame to complement that. So I think that should do really good job. And the other part here, right? So we really don't need to, like so you are shifting weight onto this, like, which is great. And I'm not really sure why we have this pause here, because it just killed everything. So you shifted the weight, right? So you're kind of taking the weight and then you're gonna go forward and then shift the weight onto that, and then you progressively you're going forward. I'm not really sure why we have to have the pause there. So that's kind of like, how is it in the reference, by the way? Yeah, you see the reference, it's not really stopping anywhere, is it? See that? So that gradually, slowly, like if you see this bit here, right? So he's not really like, if you see this bit here, look at that. He's not really stopping anywhere, is he? So you shift the weight onto this leg, right? And then you're progressively going forward, and then you're turning as well. And then this is like, you can't really turn completely to generate the momentum. That's why he's kind of, going down with a small hop there, so that he can actually start, the animals, right? How they generate the momentum. They can't, if they can't really cover a longer distance, they try to tend to go down with like bendy knees and then drop themselves, like take a small hop, boom boom boom. That's how they generate the momentum within the spot. If you see rhinos, how they do, they go people, like they kind of generate within the spot. They can't really cover a long. If they have time, they will be run 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 and then generate. If they want to really suddenly move somewhere, so what you do, you bend your knees, you create that, that thing down, and then you shoot, right? So that's how you kind of generate the momentum for bigger animals, like heavier animals, or even like cats also, they kind of do any if you wanted to generate your momentum within the spot. So that's something we are actually missing. He's like really comfortably walking. He doesn't look like he just came from stop to motion, really going that forward. So it looks really lightweighted, and that the click is not really helping you. Like if you want to see the spacing, right? So it's like a regular method how normally we'll see, like so if I'm actually tracking this guy, right? Look at that, such a big move and then such a small move. It's really hitting hard. Such a big move again, such a small move again. So it's very uneven spacing, right? So you can't really have that. Like if you go back and if you actually track this sort of a thing here, right? So look at his spacing. Like if I see this guy, it's just kind of really constantly, like look at that, sharing the weight between the two legs, and he's progressing. He's going forward. He's not stopping anywhere, is it? Look at that. It's quite nice, isn't it? The same thing we needed here as well. So make sure that you take the pause off. So that can be helpful a really big way, because you are generating momentum. You don't want any breaks. You don't want any pause there, right? And other thing, your legs are very stiff for some reason, don't know why is it. So look at that. So when you're taking this step, right, so you don't tend to have this sort of, wow, you bend it down and then you drop it, right? So you kind of have the bend. Your legs are quite stiff, like all the sort of areas, so especially that, right? So you are actually kind of lifting up, so we need to see the bend there, and kind of have this sort of a thing is fine. and then you drop the feet there, so a little bit more straighter from there. So that kind of makes sense a little bit more, how is he gonna do that? And then after that, yeah, that's all great. But it's just a little tricky that we don't have that the bend and then taking the step. And now again, if I see your top view, I can make out, or if I see your front view, I can make out that you are quite off balance here. You might, so you have really cross-legged. So you are like locking yourself and then you're gonna drop like this off. It's a bit tricky, like it's a bit dangerous. So yeah, you got to play it really nicely. So on the turn. And now, so if you're trying to do this, that means you're gonna have another step like even more closer so that you can balance really well, right? So right now you're doing this and then you're taking a straight step, which is very dangerous. So you got to balance yourself, right? Like if you see in the reference, I think, see the reference, so around there, right? So look at that, he's kind of helping himself, like coming from other way around to like, a bit of a cross leg, right? And then this is what is kind of like, if you see this one, right, you could see that he's actually like cross, but not really over the leg, but around the leg like this. So you have this leg, you have dropped this leg, and you are like this sort of a slant line. If you see from this way, right, so the horse must be like this, kind of like so he must be like that. That's his leg, and this is kind of his leg, right? That sort of a leg he'll be like having, like, and he's not really straight. So he's making sure that he's gonna turn this side. So that means you're turning on this, you're pushing off from here. That means your line of action is like this on the front view. But when you see your animation, he's a bit straight. That's very very tough to have. So you are going to turn this side. So that means you have to lean towards that similar direction, right? So that's why it feels like he's like very rigid and very robotic. That because you're really like you got to like lean into the direction where you're going to go turn, right? So those are the things will prepare audience in the brain that, oh shit, he's gonna turn now, because that's why if you see his angle, see if he poses like this, so that means he's gonna turn towards this. So it actually prepare audience, right? So that's preparation is not there right now. If I stop here, he looks like he's just doing this sort of a tricks, like he's just walking, he's gonna go in a straight line. So, but if the same thing, if I pause in reference, right? What frame is this? 65, around 60 something, right? How I see the frames here? Oh no. How I see the frame range? Forgot. No. Yeah, frame range. So yeah, around 60, right? Look at that. You could make out that he is really far away from the feet and he's kind of coming here. You can make out that he's really off balance. He's not really standing still, like really kind of very well planted and very very sort of like in locky. He's not like this. He's always like, if you see him, he's like not like this sort of a thing. He's gonna go forward. His line of action is like always like off balance. That means he's gonna really take a maneuver, or he's gonna do some sort of a crazy turn. That sort of idea it gives you by off balance poses like this. That means he's in a motion to do something. Not if I actually stop it here, the same frame, he looks like he's gonna do a bit of a show of a tricks, like he's just gonna walk in a straight line. So that's what we need to prepare audience. We are not preparing audience, but you're really suddenly turning. So it kind of like, wait a minute, I didn't expect this. Brain tells you like, I didn't expect this. So we got to prepare the audience. Like, look at this, at 72, he must have really had a good turn, because it's a super sharp turn here. So probably if I see the reference, so this is why we use reference to understand. Look at this. He's kind of use this from there to there, right? So from there to there. So he's kind of using this legs to pivot his body and throw the body out, right? Look at that. And now again, same thing he's doing that. So it's kind of a caterpillar. How do you kind of like come in, like kind of come in, and this kind of really goes other side and then comes. It's kind of using that as like basically the pivot point goes in the both the legs. I think in last review also I kind of mentioned on the cat. So he is using right now. So that's your pivot point. You throw your body out like this, and now you drop your feet. Now you're going to use this and throw your body out as a pivot. Right now you're using this and you're going to throw your front body out. Now you're going to use this and you're going to throw the back body out. So they always pivot changes from front and back, right? That's how it works, because the spine is really connected very well, and kind of head leads the whole thing. So that way, if you think that way, it's very easy to break the reference, analyze the reference, and bring the similar essence to your animation. Most of the time, we tend to like copy the reference. It's not just copying the reference. It's like most of like understanding the reference. Why is it doing and how is it doing? how is it affecting my weight shift, how is it affecting my chest and hip and head reactions, and how it's actually affecting my body language, like is it lean towards one side, or is really straight, or is really like or lean forward or backward or sideways. So they're all kind of things we have to understand from the reference and bring that in animation. Once we know why he's doing there or she's doing there, it helps us to understand in animation why we have to do in animation. Right now, look at this. He looks like he's gonna really go in a straight way. If I pause the same thing on 83, 83, right? So 83. Check this out. Such a crazy pose. This is like around there. So he is gonna look like, and the legs are up in the air. He's tilted his body towards like this. That means sorry guys, I'm getting too excited now. My voice is not supporting. So yeah, so this way you can actually turn by seeing this. But he's cross leg right now. So you're really on the cross leg. That means you're gonna turn this way. You're gonna run this way. So you're gonna be always like this, right? So your body is leaning towards it. So this is what we kind of missing right now. So see if we can jump onto those areas. Look at this. That's a beautiful shape, like 95, right? So we could take advantage of that. Now it's actually kind of speaking a good language. 95, yes, that's good. But again, your front body is supporting too much. It's like but your back body is a bit more relaxed right now. So they even bring it down and make it really make it dynamic. So this is why VFX, right? Most of the VFX movies are really successful because they follow the reference very closely to get the essence. Not just a copy reference, because you have same imagine you have pony running sort of. You can actually take this as a reference, but body mechanics is same. You can understand the body mechanics, you can get the essence, and you can transfer the similar essence onto your rig. Based on your physicality of the rig, you can change. It doesn't have to be like copying exactly the same thing. But yeah, so those are the little essence I could try. And main thing, like we're talking about the weight shifts, right? So when you're dropping the feet there, look at that. When you drop the feet there, so there's not much of a weight coming onto this leg and then bouncing back up, and then there's not much of a weight coming towards this leg, and then when you're dropping, look at that, you drop the feet there. There's not much effect on the hip at all. It's kind of really, like, if I have to show some of the reference. So what a step does, boom. So let's say, right, you're bringing your, okay, let's say, no, this is not the right reference. Maybe I'll pick up other one. So yeah, he's stopping, right? So let's say he's stopping. So boom, look at this. Your chest is going down, and then you hit by the ground here, and then energy is gonna pass back. You're gonna have that up there, right? And even this, like when you see the hip kind of drops down and go up and down, the bounce is what something we are missing. It looks very like rigid right at the moment. He's not really doing much. Look at this. Look at the hip going up and drop down on this, because you are going closer towards the ground, right? So with this weight shift, so it's gonna go closer to the ground and then bounce back away from the ground. So those of the sort of the weight shift we are actually kind of, look at this. There's not much of a reactions going on. 63, right? Let's see in original reference what's happening in 63. Sorry, 63. Yeah, look at that. Boom. So look at how much he's actually kind of shifting the weight on it, and then he's sliding off as well. When you're sliding off, when the legs are going down, you go down like this, right? This is your hip, and when you go down, your hip goes down. So when your legs are closer, the hip comes back. The more the legs goes wide, the hip goes down, right? The same way, you're bringing the legs wider and you're trying to turn, right? So your chest goes down automatically. So which is a great detail we could borrow from the reference. And now you are going to take a kick, like jump off from the, like, you are generating more momentum by using this leg, right? So you have to have that slightly up down, on that. Look at that, he's just trying to push himself up, but again, it's not enough to generate the momentum. And then you're taking the other leg support, and then you're locking that leg and using that leg to push yourself off again from the ground, so that you can continuously catch up with the momentum, so that you can generate that run within self, right? So that is what actually the gradual thing, like the struggle, is what kind of tells audience that he's actually generating the momentum on the spot. So that's where it sort of lags a bit. So if you can try to work on that, we will be really successful. Sorry man, I'm gonna go for it's going way longer. Cool. So yeah, and then same thing here, like same weight shifts again. Like look at this. It's kind of really up in the air. Just kind of the same line. Look at that. He just keep on going. It's not much difference going on, right? So when you're hitting your boom, boom, like, your legs down, how much the reactions, all of this reaction going up and side to side and rotation up and down is that's all the reactions are, slightly can be super, better. Right now it's kind of missing are there. So look at this, like one little thing, like, if you can't really see, if you want to read from other ones, like check this guy out. Look at that. Boom, on the leg down, like, on the leg drop, so you kind of go closer to the ground, and now you're pushing away from the ground. Look at that, generating a moment, like, you see, it goes up, and as soon as you kind of, like, hit the ground, like, look at that, the chest going up and down, boom, 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 like, that sort of a thing on this, leg plants is what something you're missing. I think the next, this one is quite nice on that one. If you see that, look at that, the generation, the sorry, the the chest reactions on this leg plants, right? So really working better now. After you drop bit of a kick on the forward and then up and down, like, use that to go slightly upwards, and then now again, right before you can come down a touch because the mass is gonna hit the ground, right? So it's kind of really coming down and then the balance back again with the legs, and again look at this hip, so chest is kind of really comes down and then goes up now. So those sort of like similar regular walk cycles, how we do, how the hip reacts on the walk cycles, on the leg contact poses and passing poses, same thing, we definitely need that, but right amount, not really. Like if you see, if I can type that walk cycle reference images, right? So if you see, yeah, if you see that, so this is what we are actually talking generally, to be honest, nothing big, nothing less, this is the same thing, but right proportions on this hip and chest. So that's what we're looking. So if you can get those details, look at this, kind of really in the same spot, and he's going to be in the same spot, he's going to be the same spot, he's not really doing any reactions, that's where I try to put some, my money into that. So give some time there, so that can be helpful a lot. And while dropping, right, so dropping is great, I really like what you're dropping. So, and again, this is like quite off balance, he might tip off and he might hurt himself really badly. Even though he's falling down in a controllable way. Right now, if you see, right, so this is where he knows that he's going to fall down, right? So he triggers with which leg actually here? Yeah, the triggering mechanism of falling, right, should be happen with the back legs, and then the front legs will go take over that slide. Oh shit, I'm going to drop now, and then he catches up with the back leg to support this side of it. It's great. Let's see how it's actually in the reference. I think we are not able to see what actually triggers the slip. So is the front legs or the back legs is what something, not really clear, because you are quite slippery on the back leg and the front legs is also slippery. But when you're having this drag, but your body's not reacting, like if I'm actually slippery, right? So the body sort of goes like this and then come back, right? That is slightly missing there. So see, if you could actually make sure your chest is reacting for your legs, that would be fantastic stuff. But right now, that is what missing right now. But apart from that, rest is great. So yeah, sorry, the slippery. So which causes slippery? I think it's the back legs, because that's where he's not able to generate the momentum, and yeah, he's kind of started slippering on the back as well. Oh, it's all blood. Look at the front legs are good. The back legs is the one sort of kicking up the dust. So that means he's trying to get the land the back feet, but he starts slippering and then go for the catch with the front legs. He still fail, and now he's trying to, like, oh shit, it's gone off balance now, and the feet is like kind of bendy more, right? They kind of really like bend like that, but our guy is really stiff, I think, in your reference. But again, he's trying to catch up with the back leg. You did a really good job on that one. And look at the beautiful angle, like, the shape is really great. Look at this. So if I see that shape, right, I would love to get this shape in my animation. Really, that sort of a feet coming in, and look at this, that's such a dynamic shape, right? It's quite nice. So yeah, it will be really great. These are the ones I would borrow. If I do animation straight off my head, I might not actually able to get that pose. Look at that's really great. But again, our leg is somewhere there. So if you have that sort of leg going in there, and then like that sort of a shape, is beautiful to have. A bit of that on the head. It actually kind of tells a really good story. So that's probably we could actually take the essence from the reference. This is where I will borrow a lot of details from the reference. So yeah, don't hesitate to go with the reference and check with it. And like you see, this is where he kind of minimize his falling down by taking the support of this leg, and then he takes the support of the front leg as well. Look at that, so that he actually lands on the shoulder, and then kind of rolls over as well. The rolls over is quite nice. The rolling over, and that, look at this, chest is like this and chest goes like this. That means the belly is up, right? And now it's kind of comes down. The chest is up again, like in this direction. The whole thing is up. That is something we are missing in the animation. And let me see. Yeah, if you see this, it's kind of quite rigid at the moment. Boom, look at that. It's kind of really slides, right? You have a bit of that going up, but the bones, right? Bit of bones, and you're hitting your hip first, and then the chest, right? So within this, like if you see the from here, right, from this view, your hip and your chest and your head, right? So they're like this, isn't it? So first, your hip drops, hip have its own bounce, and then the chest drop, chest have its own bounce, and then head like bit of that sort of a bounce when you see from the side view, hip, chest, and head, like bit of that. That could actually elevate a lot when you're seeing from here. You could see chest and you could see hip and you can see head, like doing such a really good wave. That's we are missing right now. But overall, the whole thing, like he drops, like he just like straight like this, he drops, he goes like that and then comes back, right? So the belly, the under part of the belly comes up and then comes to the chest and then spine, right? So spine touches the ground and then comes back up. And so that wave, right? That rollover, how it gonna come back. So that could have been much more easier way to present. If you could have done a little bit more detail on that, would have been much more interesting to watch. But yeah, it's definitely great stuff, man. I like it. So yeah, don't kill the momentum. I don't think, if you see in the reference, I don't think he's slowing down really nicely. So he's kind of almost there, but when he's getting up, he prepared himself already almost with his leg, right? So and then he's going for this leg to prepare, and that the whole weight is like really working well. But if you see our guy, I'm not able to convince that he's really able to get, so his weight is still there. So your weight is like this, your weight is not like this. So that means you need to bring your leg slightly forward, and then this is good. You have to support the back also a little bit more. I think that should be good. And it's very hard for him to do, like, because he just sliding like this, he can't really turn like that. So he should be doing the gradual turn while he's getting up. He does a really sharper turn, which is slightly painful. So look at this guy. He's kind of comes in and then you use that sort of a small S shape to go. He's not really like gone like that. He's kind of goes like this, right? So he uses that momentum to go, not really just sharp turn. So try not to have that. And this is one of the best shape, I see in the reference, like, really great shape. Look at this. The back legs are really onto the work. You can see that, they're really kind of working really well, on that, right? So yeah, the head is still off balance. If you see our animation, right? So I don't really kind of make out that sort of a struggle. Look at this. So it should be like this, right? Isn't it? Like, there should be a little bit more of this. So we have to feel that thing, not really up, but yeah. So a bit of a straight leg so that you can actually convert, shift the whole balance onto that, and then you can get up. But look at the support of the back legs is slightly we are missing right now. We are getting straight up. It's very difficult to get straight up. So it could be always easy to push away than having the weight straight up onto the legs, right? You wanted to generate the momentum also by pushing forward. So it's not lifting up, it's lifting forward. That would be definitely help. That actually help you. But again, like, it's very easy to just again, the weight shifts are missing here in a little bit. He goes on its own up. It's very difficult. He just hop from there. He cannot really hop like that really quickly. Like, if you see the reference, I don't think he's doing the reference. Yeah, look at that. So he just kind of goes there and then, boom, boom, he just jumps there. He's not going up and down like that, right? He just kind of catches up. So he goes there. There's a small hop and then he goes there. And now the legs are sort of, retracting and then kind of they're dropping down a little bit more nicely from this to this, right? So it's the legs are really kind of covering quite a lot, getting the bend and then trying to prepare for the next landing, but not on the same place, slightly forward, so that he can actually shoot himself, like, forward direction. So those elements is what something we are missing right now. But yeah, man, I think it's a really overall great job. Yeah, look at the main thing, like we discussed about the weight shifts, that applies for the entire shot. So make sure that you go back and review yourself and see how my chest, head and hip is reacting. and how am I using this momentum, and how can I borrow shapes from the reference, right? And again, most of the time we leave it computer to do the breakdowns for us, but I would just go there because when I study the reference, I sit down and understand what are the shapes. It looks beautiful, like this shape, right? This shape is reaching, is really reaching. So I don't see that reaching sort of a thing, in animation. It would be nice to push that shape, just one shape. Could that stretch shape, it could actually change your animation really into next level. Because sometimes it's we're trying to finish faster or put it there faster. We try to take some shortcuts and leave to our computer to give us breakdowns. So yeah, I wouldn't do that. I would jump in onto my breakdowns. Look at the shapes, like right now it's like this, and now look at this. So now he's like almost like trying to go forward, right? The same shapes, like if I have to analyze a reference from exactly something like this, right? So this is what something we are missing basically. So if you see two different things, right? So now when you're dropping, you're going forward, so you are like this shape, right? But when you're reaching, like afterwards, look at this. After you drop the feet, so you are this. So the difference between this and this, right? So is what kind of gives you the essence of you are dropping and you're going off, like you're progressing really well. That is what something we are missing with our main thing, spacing, and the overall feel of the posing like this to the posing like this on the hip and the chest, like how he's really carry forward, right? So those are the shapes we are actually missing. See if we can jump onto that, can really help you. Look at the beautiful shape, right? Look at his body dynamics, works much better, right? Even though you are not seeing in that front view, but still you could actually feel that. Like if you see this here, look at that. See, he's like this now, and now he's actually generating the momentum, here as well. Like now he's slightly forward. So basically, he's in this sort of legs right now, and that sort of neck, right? He's going forwards, and then here right now, so he's like this sort of legs. He's dropping the feet. So get that sort of a dynamicness on the head, and that would be definitely help you a lot. So that's what we are missing right now in animation. So see if we can just improvise that. But overall, great shot, man. There's always comments, you can keep on going, but really good job overall. I think I would like to see the next progressive stuff from you as well. And yeah, keep on working on those weight shifts, and it'll be definitely great way to improve. Thanks, buddy. Cheers, man. Hope this helps. And yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks for watching the video. Thank you. Bye.